on your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
You want answers.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Jones for the win. He got it. He got it. He got it. Mason Jones banks in a three with 0.1 seconds to play.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Has it been a little difficult to get excited about things in the last couple of months? I think it has been.
Just a smidge.
You get excited to wake up in the morning. You get excited to do something as simple as take a walk down the street. Something as simple as, I don't know, sitting in a salon chair and getting a haircut. Something I don't really know what it feels like. But today is an exciting day, no doubt about it, in a time where, unfortunately, many businesses are forced to downsize or just disappear completely, and a lot of commerce has just evaporated into nothingness in the last 7 to 8 weeks. Here we are, halftime, expanding up to Fayetteville, and very excited about that too. Phil Elson here, along with my buddies Matt Smackdown Jenkins, Matty T as well, in our ESPN Arkansas studios, and live for the first time on ESPN Northwest Arkansas 99.5, where we will be on your dial every Monday through Friday from 12 to 2 until the very end of time. So, yeah, pretty much put it down for the next eon or two. This is going to be your daily adventure from 12 to 2 as you're eating lunch or as you're digesting it or whatever it is you got going on. And we invite you to be a part of the show at 877-377-6963. Reason to celebrate today, guys.
Absolutely.
Congratulations for an expansion. Well done.
We did it. And I'm just kind of reaping the reward because I know we've talked about this off the air and on the air before. A lot of this goes to you and Ty because, you and Ty got this thing moving. Obviously, Ty's on the morning rush now, so and I jumped in late in February, so Matty T came on in on the air in January, February, so
you know what they call guys like you in baseball then, Smackdown?
What's that?
If you'd be a relief pitcher, you'd be a vulture. The guy that just swooped in and picked up somebody else's victory. Well done.
Follow me.
We're coattail riders.
That's right. Yeah, hit your start of this wagon. Well done. So, yeah, you're right, though. Congratulations to Matty T and to Smackdown for this. I'd like to thank those who've been responsible for this show even being on the air in the first place. Tommy Kraft, of course, who's our market manager at ESPN Arkansas, the great sales staff that we have at all three of our affiliates up until today. Now we've got a fourth affiliate. To Ty Richardson, my former co-host, still a little bit of a younger brother. I think that's an accurate way to put at it. And for a while, a good driving force behind this show. Also to the folks that run ESPN Northwest Arkansas. We couldn't be on this station without their go-ahead and their blessing. Candace does a great job as the general manager. And, of course, Zach Arns, program director and one of the co-hosts of Ruskin and Zach, which you've been hearing an hour after we're done for a little more than the last year. So, yeah, really exciting. This is definitely something we wanted to do once we began the show. What is it we talk about more than anything else? Razorback sports, SEC, college sports, but pretty much a whole lot of Razorback sports. So, and that's what most of the sports shows across the state are talking about to begin with. But it's nice when you've got that presence not far away from campus at all, and the home of the Razorbacks, of course, which is Fayetteville and really all of Northwest Arkansas. And the fact of the matter is the entire state of Arkansas would be the home of the Razorbacks. So for those of you who have not heard us before, I'm Phil. You might know me as the voice of Arkansas baseball and women's basketball on the radio. Been doing that for, I'll say, 6 full seasons of women's basketball and about 5 1/5 of a season for baseball. Matt Smackdown Jenkins. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi.
Don't let me do it. He's the
hello.
largest guy here on the show, and we don't really mess with him too much.
No, Matt Jenkins. First came to ESPN Arkansas in February. I was a former high school teacher in MBB, Arkansas. It's about 45 minutes north of Little Rock, if you know where BB is. I guess the weird thing about me, where Phil is he's the baseball guru of the show. I am the wrestling guru of the show.
You're also the muscle. So
I'm also the muscle.
Anybody ever messes with us, we're sending SmackDown after
To give
you.
the same introduction I did when we first got here, I wear a size 16 shoe. I have to custom order my hats. I have to special order clothes because God made me this way. So, no.
And thank
Glad to
goodness
be
he did.
here. And Phil and Maddie T have taken me under their wings, and I've known Maddie T for 7-8 years, I guess.
SmackDown, what he's affectionately known as on halftime. He was an intern at a previous radio station I worked at.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Matty T, do you think it's legitimate to say that since SmackDown's got not just the associate's degree, but the bachelor's degree and the master's degree, that he's the most intelligent person involved in this show?
I think it's easy to say that, yes.
You know what? We should have been calling me the whole time Master SmackDown.
Master SmackDown.
The master of the SmackDown.
Again, I didn't want a nickname that was longer than the real name. So unfortunately, throwing the name Master in there probably isn't the way to get at it.
Anything was better than Big Sexy, though. I'm still
not
comfortable with that.
That was the one you pushed more than anything, and I'm really glad.
Well, when you have the commissioner of the Great American Conference in his cell phone, he doesn't call you Matt. It's not Matthew. It's not Matt. It's not Jenkins. It says Big Sexy. That's when you know that nickname has made it.
I'll just let him call you that instead of us. And that can be your, the one person that can call you that, because I don't think it's going to happen here on this show. So we do talk sports, more, and we jack around a little bit as well. But hey, there was an announcement about an hour or so before we got on the air today. Didn't Eric Musselman preview that there would be a major announcement of a non-conference basketball series to be played on a neutral site? And I think he said that last week. So here it is.
Yeah.
The man is a man of his word. Arkansas, Oklahoma, starting in December this year. And going at least for 2 years, conceivably could be a lot longer than just 2 years. This is terrific.
Absolutely.
I love the idea of a neutral site game that is played closer to campus than any other major city could be.
Well,
you're Tulsa, you're 90 minutes away.
I was going to say, you can't get much more in the middle for Arkansas and Oklahoma than Tulsa. It's 116 miles from Fayetteville to Tulsa and 125 from Norman to Tulsa. So, I mean, when you look at it logistically, that's a great get, or at least you want to keep it as neutral site as you can. That's the way to do it. This is going to be a good matchup. They last fought. See, you got me thinking about wrestling right now. Last met up
fought. They locked horns.
Locked horns in the PK 80 tournament up in Portland.
Yeah, they've played on a few neutral site tournaments. Also played off campus in Oklahoma City and Little Rock. I don't consider those neutral site games. It's like, Arkansas against Old Dominion at the arena with no teams in North Little Rock, known as Simmons Bank Arena. That's not a neutral site. Let's be honest here. Tulsa's a real neutral site, though. And I wonder about this because Tulsa's one of those cities that has its own Division I college sports programs. I mean, they got two of them, Oral Roberts and Tulsa. But the major college sports fans are rooting for either the big three that are nearby, either OU or Oklahoma State or Arkansas. I mean, there's a pretty heavy concentration of Arkansas alumni or just Razorback fans in general in Tulsa. In fact, I think that there's been a radio station in Tulsa on the Razorback Network for a long time now. So I believe that is a true neutral site game, much more so than it would have been, let's say, that if the baseball season would have continued this year. Arkansas was supposed to play Oklahoma at the AAA Park in Oklahoma City, I guess about 30 minutes away from OU's campus. I wouldn't have viewed that as a neutral site park. But if you're playing in Tulsa, to me, legitimate neutral site. And good to see a big name up there as well because Arkansas, the last couple of years you played against Georgia Tech, you played against Indiana. I don't know if I'd put Western Kentucky in the pantheon of maybe not top 7 conferences, but certainly Western Kentucky is one of the better mid-major programs in the country. You got to replace all those games. You do get a couple of games in Vegas around Thanksgiving. I don't think they've announced who Arkansas will be playing in those games yet. You do get a game in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Theoretically, I think that'll be on the road since you had TCU at home this past year. Old Dominion in North Little Rock, that's not a major opponent. Oklahoma is. And it's a great thing to see, especially with a state that's located right next to the state of Arkansas. And now pretty much you play one of the major state schools of every state that touches our great natural state.
Absolutely. Big recruiting tool, too, and I know we'll touch more with that here later in the show, too, but a pretty good recruiting tool for Eric Musselman, too, with this matchup in Tulsa.
877-377-6963 for calls and texts on halftime today. Next segment, you wonder, you think there's going to be college football. What if there are just conference games? What does that do to Arkansas at Notre Dame? One of the more historic trips that the Razorbacks will ever make. Will that even happen? We'll discuss next.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
Mason had one of the best percentages in college basketball in finishing fast break opportunities. He was consistently up there as one of the best guys to finish in transition, which is important because you think about how the NBA game has evolved. Transition is a huge part, i.e. the Golden State Warriors and what they've been able to do.
Don't miss The Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Attention Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. Do you need a better internet provider? One who treats you like a member and not a number? Then check out our new fiber internet services from Wave Rural Connect. We are bringing state-of-the-art, high-speed fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. If you are an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Even though things have changed right now, CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers remains open to help keep your family fed. You don't have to sacrifice the wonderful flavor of fresh, daily ground beef burgers or piping hot fries at all. The Fayetteville location on Weddington delivers lunch or dinner through the Waiter app, or come on over and use the drive-thru. CJ's in Russellville is open for pickup during normal business hours, and as always, they're making sure everything is sanitized and safe for you. Don't forget to download the CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers smartphone app for an easy way to order. CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers has you covered, because when all you do are burgers, they have to be the best.
I'll get drive-thru. Your home is important. That's why Geico helps make it easy to save on homeowners insurance. Because home is more than just a place. Home is where you build a giant pillow fort in your living room, and when people ask why you have a pillow fort in your living room, you say it's for your dog. And when they ask, well, what kind? You say, chocolate lab, and weave a web of lies that's almost as intricate as the crown molding in Fort Pillow. The Geico Insurance Agency could help protect the pillow-soft fortress you call home. Call Geico and see how easy it is to switch and save on homeowners insurance.
Did you invest in real estate only to find out that real estate takes up too much of your time? If you answered yes, then it's time to make a call to the experts. With more than 30 years of combined property management experience and more than 16,000 units managed, Trinity Multifamily are the ones to call. Get your life back. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
We're now living in uncharted waters with the spread of COVID-19. With the partial closing of a lot of businesses, sadly, some will soon try and turn your possessions into their possessions. Guardtronic has been providing security for homes and businesses for over 60 years. Whether you need a camera system to keep an eye on things or a complete home security system, call Guardtronic 479-785-2323 or go online to guardtronic.com. We have so many worries these days, safety should not be one of them. License E50.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen, or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time, every time.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Baseline drive. Sills feeds Joe left corner. Step back. 3 on the way from Isaiah. Perfect. Nothing but the bottom for Joe. And the Hawks are up 45-28.
I've been saying he's the best shooter in the country.
Pretty funny, some news that came out just before we got on the show today about this Olivier Sarr, 6'9" center at Wake Forest, who had put his name in the transfer portal after the Demon Deacons fired Danny Manning. Go on and hire Steve Forbes. Forbes said that the number one recruit for him right now is Sarr. He wants him to return to campus and finish out his career at Wake Forest, which is, a terrific school. And he kind of put, I don't know if they can put Kentucky on blast here, but I think people that don't like Kentucky would love to hear a quote like this from a coach who's trying to get a student athlete to stay at a a world-class institution. And he says, why, this is word for word what Steve Forbes told Olivier Sarr, why would you want to go to Wake for 3 years and work on a degree from a prestigious university like this and then graduate from a place like Kentucky? And then what does Sarr do? The very next day that this comes out, he commits to Kentucky. Oh, well. So Steve Forbes looked good for just about every other fan across the college basketball landscape for a while there, and got a little bit of egg on his face right now.
Yeah. You can't blame the kid, though.
No,
as much as I dislike Kentucky, you can't blame the kid, though. That's the way I look at it.
Well, what we wanted to get into here is will Arkansas and Notre Dame play football this next year? I think that's a legitimate question because there could be a college football reality in which you're left with just conference games. And in that case, it puts independents in a pretty sticky situation, of which, of course, Notre Dame is the most prominent independent. Is this supposed to be the third or the fourth year of their alliance or whatever it's called, their affiliation with the ACC, in which they play 6 ACC schools per year and usually rotate around their other either rivals or, like this year, playing Arkansas for the first time ever? First of all, Notre Dame is supposed to open the season in Dublin, Ireland against Navy, August 29th, week 0. There's been no announcement about that. That's one of Navy's home games, so I guess it would be their decision. The NFL already said they're taking out all of the international games. All these games are returning to the United States. Still no word on Notre Dame Navy. I guess that's first on the pecking order for the Fighting Irish, but their first home game of the year is against Arkansas. And you bet your bottom dollar Notre Dame is going to do everything they can to play every single game that's on their schedule. So I think it's supposed to be a week from now that Notre Dame makes their, I don't know if the decision is the right word, will announce their intentions for fall classes and whether or not students will be allowed back on campus. And, if it's going the direction that most other schools are going, I saw Tennessee, Kentucky in the last couple of days have announced that they have their intentions of welcoming students back to campus. Intentions and guaranteeing that that's going to happen are two completely different things. It's what we got into yesterday. But I think next week we'll have a better idea, at least to whether or not Notre Dame is planning on having that home game against the Razorbacks. And I would think you'd bet your bottom dollar that they're going to do everything they can to play that game on that day and then go from there.
I agree completely. We joke all the time that some schools may not necessarily want to play Arkansas, worry about the non-conference game because theoretically, unless if some God-given miracle happens, the chances of us beating Notre Dame is going to be small. Just to be quite blunt about it. But, like you said, this is a big game for Notre Dame. It's their first game of the year. It's probably even bigger in our minds as Arkansas fans just because you don't get to play Notre Dame very often, especially go to Notre Dame and play. So both parties want to get this game done in some form or fashion, whether that's with fans, no fans, delayed, whatever it may be. So it's a matter of time before this thing kind of like what you mentioned. Next week they're supposed to make a decision at Notre Dame about how they're going to move forward with classes at their university, and hopefully it involves Arkansas and their first home game of the year.
Well, I mean, when you're Notre Dame and your entire schedule is made up of non-conference games, it's pretty important to make it clear that if the SEC is just going to do 8 conference games and some of the other conferences that usually play 9 will do 9, what happens to the rest of the season? And it's not just about Notre Dame. I mean, there's some. I mean, Lane Kiffin is supposed to open up his Ole Miss career against Baylor. You get West Virginia, Florida State, USC versus Alabama at Jerry World to open up the season. And that's not even the big rivalries, of like Notre Dame versus USC versus Stanford. They're supposed to host, or I guess it's Wisconsin, supposed to host Notre Dame at Lambeau Field. That doesn't even count, the rivalries that get played on the last week of the season every year. Georgia Tech, Clemson versus South Carolina, Kentucky versus Louisville, amongst many others. One thing's for certain, though, it's not going to be Texas versus Texas A&M because Chris Del Conte says the Aggies are not interested in playing them right now. But, I mean, we all want a football season, right, SmackDown? We all want some semblance of a football season. But I think it would be really sad. Disastrous isn't the right word because, honestly, Arkansas going into Notre Dame, I don't know if we're expecting some sort of miracle. I honestly don't know how good Notre Dame is supposed to be next year. But I think you could probably, at least right now, say that Notre Dame would be a heavy favorite. It's about the experience for the people that are going there. Maybe the experience of seeing Arkansas go up against those golden helmets for the first time ever.
That's what it is. You get to see the Razorbacks go up against the team that Lou Holtz used to coach on both sides of it, too. And like you said, it's more – Yes, it's the game, and it'd be ecstatic if Arkansas was to pull off the win. But like you mentioned, it's the experience of going to Notre Dame and seeing the touchdown Jesus statue and everything that goes into Notre Dame because it's pageantry at its best at Notre Dame. I mean, you've seen countless historical college football videos, whether it be on YouTube, ESPN Classic, whatever it may be, and it seems like every classic game that's been done at some point in fashion has included Notre Dame in it. I mean, they're tradition rich in football history.
But they're in the position that's unique compared to anybody else in college football because let's say that the SEC just says, well, all we can do is really have our conference games this year. So at least the 14-member schools know they have 8 games scheduled and don't have to worry about that. If you're Jack Swarbrick, who's the athletic director at Notre Dame, and conference by conference, everybody says, well, we can only have our conference games this year. Then if you're Swarbrick, I mean, how quickly do you hit the phone? He was talking about the idea of a conference +1, of the ability to at least play, for the Pac-12 teams like Stanford and Southern California. You've got Notre Dame on the schedule to play their entire Pac-12 schedule, but then have a +1 against Notre Dame. That puts them with 1 extra game, I believe, or like Wisconsin, because the Big Ten plays 9 conference games. The SEC plays 8. Would the SEC allow Arkansas to play that 9th game if they're only licensed or given the go-ahead to play against other SEC schools? What happens to that Notre Dame game? And wouldn't it just be right for Arkansas, the way things happen, though, sometimes? I mean, you had that 2-year schedule series with Michigan that was blown up because of Notre Dame, for crying out loud. You almost feel like Notre Dame scheduled this series with Arkansas as a little bit of a payback, of a bit of an apology for taking Michigan away for 2 years and lumping Arkansas in with Colorado State for 2 seasons.
And we saw how that went for 1 year.
Well, Chad Morris should be thankful for that schedule at least last year.
But to go along with kind of like what you just mentioned, though, I mean, yes, Arkansas Michigan would have been great, but it just has that ringtone to it of seeing Notre Dame versus Michigan. I mean, and if there was a scenario where those two sides could work out a game, which I mean they did, so more power to them. But Notre Dame and Michigan has a great ring to it.
Well, here's sound from Jim Swarbrick. He was talking with reporters yesterday on a Zoom call. And, I mean, look, there's 130 Division I FBS football teams. I mean, do you really think all 130, even if there is college football on time in the fall, you really think that all 130 of them will be playing? Conceivably, you could end up with a Pac-12 that doesn't have every team that's usually playing there. I mean, what's happened in the Bay Area, or the campuses over there, they're facing different situations than they are in Southern California or in Arizona or in Utah. You know, I think the SEC is at a point where you're probably going to have all 14 schools playing, but I don't think that every other major college football league is going to have everybody playing. And if that's the case, how does that affect teams like Notre Dame?
We are very comfortable that if it goes that way, that we'll be fine. We will be able to play a high-quality, full schedule, the same number of games as other teams will play. Having said that, I think we all recognize that there is a significant chance that may not be possible, that either because states or individual colleges and universities take different approaches, you can't produce a season where all members are participating in Division I football in the same way.
There's just more questions based upon those answers. And for me, these days, I mean, the theme of what we're facing as a country and as a society and as college sports in general is a whole lot of I don't know. I think it's okay sometimes to say I don't know.
That's all you can say right now.
Athletic directors are starting to come around with that terminology every once in a while. Clay Henry joining us after the break. Stay tuned.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Hey, what's that look on your face? Defeat? You want to save more money? Then start playing as a team! Bundle home and auto with Progressive. That's how you win big savings. What? You need music to get pumped? Let's do this! Hold on, I'm going to turn it up. That's too loud. Yeah, that's better.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Have you recently experienced possible hail damage to your roof? Is it just time to replace the one you currently have? Brothers Roofing and Restoration is a properly licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Brother Alexander has over 25 years of experience in home insurance and adjusting and residential roofing. Brothers Roofing Crew has 17 years of experience themselves. He provides free estimates with the most competitive pricing in the area while using the industry's best materials. So call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother to inspect your roof.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
At AOG, we realize some customers are facing challenges because of the pandemic. We're here to help. AOG can offer you a wide array of payment options. Please call us at 1-800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com. Manage your account online 24/7 by clicking on Login/Register in the upper right corner. You can also simplify your life by enrolling in electronic billing, auto pay, and average monthly payments. Thank you for being a valued AOG customer. We're all in this together.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Stewart's open. Stewart. One on the shot clock. Thurman beat it. Oh! He got it! Three-pointer!
Clay Henry joining us now, editor and publisher of Hogs Illustrated, and you can read his columns at Whole Hog Sports. He usually joins us this time on Wednesdays, and it sounds like he's got some magical sounds to introduce him from here. Clay, how you doing, man? What's going on? I don't think he can.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, there he is.
There he
is. I think we heard you get into your car or your truck for a moment
Well,
there.
I was in my truck and switched to the Bluetooth, which I didn't think was the right thing to do. So I turned off my truck and opened the door and shut it. So we cleared the Bluetooth barrier.
It makes it an
Sorry.
old-fashioned cell phone conversation, if there really is.
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So, yesterday we had Dave Jorn on the show, a former Arkansas pitching coach.
Yep.
And you had a great piece about Jorn in Whole Hog Sports the other day. I wonder, I think he's the most impactful assistant coach in Arkansas baseball history. I mean, part of multiple College World Series visits, worked for both Norm DeBrine and Dave Van Horn. He's coached Hall of Famers, All-Stars, many guys that have been to the major leagues. Who do you think are the most impactful assistant coaches for Arkansas in basketball and football of all time?
Ooh, I was thinking about going baseball, and then boom, you switched. Well, first of all, I got to tell you my favorite Dave Jorn story.
Sure.
And of the ones that I can say on the air,
Introduce any baseball story with that.
Yeah. So I was writing a story on Ryan Stanek, and his first I'd say year and a half at Arkansas, he was wild high, and you couldn't hit him, but hitters would lay off that pitch, and it would likely be a ball. It was kind of a rising fastball, and he finally settled down, and all at once he started hitting spots, and he the velocity wasn't there. And so I was asking him, and he said, well, when you go to the county fair, the guy that walks up to the mile per hour booth and he tries to win, the teddy bear for his girlfriend, he said, that's what Ryan Stanek was. He was trying to win the teddy bear. And he could hit 100 and win the teddy bear, but he couldn't get anybody out. And he said, we just had to get him to stop trying to win the teddy bear. And I mean, I was laughing so hard I was crying. And you have to get the story of him telling it in his, as y'all said, his John Wayne style. But it was great. Now back to your question. The most impactful basketball, I would go flip a coin between Gene Cady and Pat Foster under Eddie Sutton, and recruiting Delph, Moncrief, and Brewer. Now, Eddie was a good recruiter too, but those guys, they recruited some great players, and they were both destined to be great head coaches. But I would say in basketball, you could go there. And, Nolan had good assistants, too. One of his assistants sells advertising for Hogs Illustrated now, Brad Dunn. My favorite Brad Dunn story, Nolan had hired him, and he'd been on the job for literally hours and rolled in with his U-Haul trailer at Bud Walton, and I guess it was at Barnhill then, and still had his stuff in his U-Haul trailer, and walks in, and Terry Mercer says, there's a recruit on the phone, and he wants to talk to one of the assistant coaches. And so he went on the phone, and it was Corliss Williamson, and Brent had not really done anything yet. And Corliss says, well, Coach Dunn, good to meet you. I'd like to commit.
That's called influence right there.
His first minutes on the job, the number one player in the country, the number one recruit of all time for Arkansas. I mean, I don't think they have ever signed the number one player in the country before or after. And he commits to Brad on the phone. He doesn't even know who Brad is, but he's the new assistant coach. So obviously Nolan had done all the legwork, but wasn't in the office that afternoon. So now football. So the most impactful.
There have been quite a few, too. I mean, the best assistant coach in college football award is named after Frank, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Wilson Matthews. And Wilson was one of Frank's first hires. Came from Little Rock Central. Had won the national championship in football with the 33-game winning streak, and just all the he coached linebackers and defense. In those early years when Arkansas was winning Southwest Conference championships and the national championship. But he also ran the fourth quarter class, which was their conditioning program. That's just legend. So I'd say Wilson Matthews was the most impactful. And that's in that era of, say, a 30-year swath. There were a lot of great ones, that coached with him. There's several offensive line coaches during, say, a 40-year period that I would say Merv Johnson was a great one. He coached national championship as assistant coach for Frank Broyles in '64. Then he went to Notre Dame under Devine. They won a national championship. So coached an offensive line there that won a national championship. Then in Oklahoma under Switzer, they won 2 national championships when he coached the offensive line. So that's 4 in a 25-year period. So he would have been. Now that's not just at Arkansas, but he coached offensive line, defensive line at Arkansas. And then Larry Bechtel was Lou Holtz's offensive line coach. Was a great one, great one. Coached a long time in the NFL. So that's right off the cuff. So
I think I had a conversation with my dad about this a few days ago, and you wonder about if assistant coaches are really given enough due for what they're able to accomplish.
No.
And I think I love the idea that of what the Broyles Award means, because you won't find a head coach who's had great success that doesn't say part of the reason for my success is because of my assistants. But really, when you look at like Hall of Fames, I don't think there are any assistant coaches or like pitching coaches in Cooperstown. I don't know offensive coordinators that are in Canton. Tex Winter. We're learning more about Tex Winter from The Last Dance, the inventor of the triangle offense. He might not have been a head coach. You can't tell me that he didn't have influence. That doesn't mean he belongs in the Hall of Fame. I think Dave Jorn belongs in the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame.
You could make that case, and I would not disagree with that at all. And if you ask Norm DeBryan, who's a big part of what he did, he'd say Jorn. And I know Dave Van Horn would as well. And, then just in a short period of time, Wes Johnson kind of pointed the program in a different direction as far as the analytics and using the new technology and stuff. And I think that without question that assistant coaches don't get enough credit. It comes down to it. The head coach hires and points them in the right direction. It falls on the head coach in so many ways, and they give the assistant coaches some freedom, and then they rein them in and point them in the right direction. Football, so much of the recruiting is done by the assistant coaches, and I think we all get that. And we'll point at certain guys, and it's like they are important recruiting. I heard Tommy Tuberville explain one time that you only need about 2 coaches that really coach the team. Maybe an offensive line coach, maybe an offensive coordinator, then maybe a defensive coordinator. So maybe that's 3, instead of 2, that are really critical hires. And then the rest of them, they need to be recruiters. Now, I disagree with that. I think that if you can't coach, that your team will reflect that. And I think Coach Broyles, that's the teaching that I got from him, that they all better be able to coach. They all better be able to understand and coach technique and be able to fix it in practice and coach. Now, I've seen head coaches that coached the assistant coaches that made sure they were coaching exactly that technique. First one I saw do that was John Cooper at the University of Tulsa. John Cooper coach at Arizona State and Ohio State. Really, good coach, technique oriented. And I saw Bobby Petrino. Every single coach on his staff coached technique the way he wanted it, offensive or defensive. They were in his system, and everything that you saw was a reflection of what he and how he wanted it coached. So that, I think I've talked a long time on one question. You got another one?
SmackDown's got you one right here, and we're speaking to Clay Henry here on Halftime. Clay, I want to switch to basketball for a second, and we've spoke on it previously in the show already, the new series against Oklahoma that's going to be taking place in Tulsa. I want to talk to you a minute because Phil brought to my attention that you used to work in Tulsa at the Tulsa World, and during our first thing, we were talking about like the different allegiances of like college athletic fans, NCAA fans in Tulsa, because it's in close proximity to Fayetteville, Norman, Stillwater with Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. Where do the allegiances fall in Tulsa? Is it a pretty much split right down three ways, or is it lean one way or the other?
Oh, I mean, you're talking about like OU, OSU?
OU, OSU, Arkansas.
Yeah, so I would
the two city schools.
Yep.
I'd say that there's a lot of OSU there, but by and large, if you just travel Oklahoma, and I lived there for 14 years with the Tulsa World, heavily involved in church, and you saw this is my take on how people are divided up in Oklahoma. If you went to Oklahoma State, you're an Oklahoma State fan. You went to Oklahoma, you were an Oklahoma fan. All the other people that didn't go to college, they're OU fans. Almost, it is. They obviously the alumni base for OSU throughout Oklahoma is strong, and the alumni base is strong, obviously, for Oklahoma. But the 60% of the others, they're Oklahoma fans. The common man, the guy, the farmer, or the guy that works in just everyday Oklahoma life. Those people grew up as Sooner fans, and when you win national championships and you're in the BCS or the championship playoff like they are, that's the way it is. I think there's a lot of that like that in Alabama, but you got Auburn alumni and you got Alabama alumni. Then the rest of the folks, they're Alabama fans. There is a large following in the Tulsa area in eastern Oklahoma that are Razorback fans. There's a lot of Arkansas people that have gone there to work. There's a lot of alumni in that area, people that grew up in Tulsa and gravitated to the University of Arkansas. So they won't have a hard time selling their 50% of the BOK Center. If that's what you're getting at with this question. But that's an OU town, Tulsa is, and you've got OSU people in it, but it's if there's 500,000 people in Tulsa, there's 400, 350 that are OU fans.
Well, it's a great sports town, really good facilities. I'm looking forward to seeing the inside of the BOK Center.
It's beautiful.
I know it's a great building, and it's a great. I think it'll be a great series. Hopefully, it goes for years and years. Clay,
they really revitalized downtown Tulsa, and there's all kinds of neat restaurants that are really close. And I hope that when we get to that December date, that we're all flowing freely and feel like going to restaurants, basketball games, and all that stuff. So it's going to be a neat series, guys.
It will. Clay, we'll leave it there, man. Thanks for jumping on with us as always. Have a great day, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next week.
Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy it, guys.
That's Clay Henry joining us every Wednesday on Halftime. We are brought to you by The Fence Man, and if you own a business that needs more security or needs more curb appeal, put this number down, 479-782-3936. That's The Fence Man. They've got a fence that can give your business more security and more curb appeal. Plus, they specialize in custom installations. Been doing it for over 40 years. It can be over for a quick, no-obligations quote. And again, just call 479-782-3936. That's The Fence Man, a division of Quantum Property Services. Our number here, halftime, 877-377-6963. We will wrap up the first hour after a very quick break. Arkansas, best baseball facilities in the country. Shocking.
Spring is here, and it's time to get outdoors. Just arrived at Jelco Outdoors. New spring footwear by Solomon, sandals by Aerosol, Keen, Sanuk, and the largest selection of work and safety footwear for men and women in the River Valley. Jelco Outdoors, serving the River Valley with quality footwear since 1983. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors.
You have work to do. You need a tractor that helps get it done. TYM has the full range of tractors designed to meet the task. With the TYM easy-to-use controls and features, switching from one job to another is easy. And with the full range of models from 19 horsepower to 105 horsepower turbo, there is a TYM tractor that's right for the job and for you. But you can't buy a TYM tractor just anywhere. It's only sold at authorized TYM dealers like Bush Tractor, 7301 South Zero, Fort Smith.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Frankrow Furniture's grand reopening. You heard right. Frankrow Furniture is reopening after closing down for your safety. Made in the USA, Speed Queen, washers and dryers, Jackson and Cat Nappers, sofas and loves, all made in the USA. Frankrow Furniture is reopening May 11. Reopening May 11. Family owned for 28 years. In-store no credit check financing and service after the sale. Frankrow Furniture. 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Need to see a doctor but you're concerned about going? River Valley Primary Care is now seeing patients at all 10 clinics by video and phone visits. See a doctor today who can diagnose your condition and prescribe medication if needed. These visits are now covered by most insurance plans. River Valley Primary Care in Ratcliffe, Mountainburg, Mulberry, Clarksville, Lavaca, Lamar, Waldron, and 3 locations in Fort Smith. Call 479-431-2050 or go online to rvpcs.org. See a doctor today by video or phone with River Valley Primary Care.
Calico County will remain open for delivery and takeout service for many of our menu favorites from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., including breakfast each day until 11 a.m. Now, you can order takeout to be brought to your car at curbside by calling 479-452-3299, or you can use the Order Online button at our website, calicocounty.net. For delivery, use the Waiter app on your computer or your handheld device, and visit our Facebook page to see any changes in our efforts to continue to service our customers.
The disruption due to the COVID-19 pandemic will not soon be forgotten. As a result, business practices are changing almost daily. At times like these, family means everything. Hey, I'm Drake Smith here for Pinnacle Telecom. If you're a customer of Pinnacle Telecom and need assistance during these challenging times, we are here for you. Call us at 479-242-0000 and give us an opportunity to help, because you are family, and family means everything. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
I'm Attorney General Leslie Rutledge, and you're watching the Rutledge Report. The governor declared a state of emergency. Price gouging laws are now in effect. Businesses and individuals cannot charge 10% more than they did before. Bad actors will face criminal charges and a fine of up to $10,000 per item. Report price gouging to my office. At the Attorney General's office, we will do the fighting for you. Call us at 800-482-8982 or visit arkansasag.gov.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Kelly, deep shot, end zone. It is caught, touchdown. Arkansas, Petway holds it in, and Cole Kelly leads a touchdown drive for Arkansas.
Closing out the first hour, halftime here on a Wednesday, counting you up to the hump of the week. Start moving your way towards the weekend once we get to about 1 minute after 1 o'clock. We'll take your calls and texts with 877-377-6963 plus Bill King in 40 minutes. talking college football with him. Plus, I wanted to know about, remember we talked about who would you want to see Mike Tyson fight from the 80s if he does end up doing some exhibition boxing matches, which it sounds like he might. Remember, it's not going to be like Muhammad Ali's, 3-ring circus sort of an exhibition boxing match. If Mike Tyson steps inside a boxing ring, he's looking to knock a sucker out. So, and Canseco would be good, but I don't think Canseco would last more than 30 seconds in the ring with Tyson.
Well, don't you think we need to put someone in there that we want to see get knocked out? Like someone that's just been pissing off everybody right now. We just need to get it out of our system.
Well, do you have anybody that's at the on the tip of your tongue?
Could you narrow it down to like one person?
I mean, not offhand, but you guys are more.
Did you want to stick John Calipari in the ring with Mike Tyson?
Yeah, sure. Why not? We'll do John Calipari.
Did you want to go with?
He deserves it.
Do you want to go with Mark Emmert? You think we could get him inside the?
He hasn't done anything wrong here recently.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not at
now
the moment.
that could change in a moment's notice. Like, yeah.
Roger Goodell's image has been softened enough by wearing a T-shirt.
Wearing a T-shirt and doing
drafts.
Wearing a T-shirt and doing draft picks in a recliner.
And encouraging to get booed. So I don't know if throwing Goodell in that ring would make much sense now. You know, it would be a really good fight though, and I forget who texted this one to us yesterday. Herschel Walker versus Mike Tyson. Now, I actually think that could be a legitimate fight. I mean, wasn't it like 8 or 9 years ago that Walker won 2 MMA fights? I think that was in his late 40s or early 50s. He knocked a couple of guys out. I think Walker is like 6 or 7 years older than Mike Tyson, but he remains in pristine shape. Now, if you want to talk about one of the greatest athletes of all time, Herschel Walker belongs on that list.
That was Brenton Ford Smith's suggestion yesterday.
That was Brenton Ford Smith.
Yep.
Okay. Now I don't remember. Walker had a good NFL career. It wasn't a great all-time legendary NFL career. In fact, I think he's known more for the trade to the Vikings that helped build the Cowboys than anything else that happened in pro football. Though he was good. He was good. But, I mean, you look at a guy that was also on the USA bobsled team, took part in the Fort Worth Ballet, was an MMA fighter at the age of 49 or 50, and the shape he's in right now, I think he could actually step into the ring with Tyson and last a while, maybe even land a few.
The way Tyson looked in that Instagram video of him working out, I mean, granted it was just a 5-second video. There's no telling what happened after 6 seconds, but the way he was throwing the gut punches and then he hit one uppercut, whoo, Lord, it wouldn't be pretty. Would not be pretty. But who knows? Herschel Walker's, like you said, just as good of an athlete, if not the greatest athlete, one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen. So yeah. It'd be fun to see.
So let's see here. Yes, Arkansas baseball does have the best facilities, player development facilities in the country. I think that the players and the coaches associated with the baseball program are already aware of that. But 90 head coaches were surveyed by Baseball America. This is coming out earlier this morning. And Arkansas, not quite a runaway winner, but the Razorback baseball program picked as having the best player development facilities in the country with 18 votes out of a possible 90. Vanderbilt finished second with 14 votes. Mississippi State, Wake Forest, LSU, and Ole Miss round out the top 6.
I wonder if that took in consideration the new facility being built.
No, I don't think so.
Because I think
maybe in some of those coaches' minds, they might have thought, they're building more.
Yeah.
So the best is going to get better. But even if you were to take away, even if that new JB and Janelle Hunt Performance Center doesn't get built, which is going to get built, the construction continues. Even if you had, it was just the Fowler Center and the Pitching Development Center, which is located in the third base concourse at Baum-Walker Stadium, those facilities in and of themselves are good enough to at least be in the top 3 and probably be number 1. So, and I found it interesting, too. It's funny sometimes because we get a little butthurt when national publications don't put Arkansas in the rankings or the pecking order that we think they belong. It's like we love the baseball uniforms from Sundays, the cream colors with the old English A on the left breast.
Yes.
That's my favorite Razorback baseball uniform. It's probably my favorite overall uniform on campus. Baseball America came out 2 days ago with their favorite baseball uniforms across the country. And the cream colors were ranked 10th. And that pissed some people off. That got some Arkansas fans angry because who was ahead of the Razorbacks? Well, LSU, Ole Miss. You also had Mississippi State ranked ahead. And it just wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough to be ranked 10th, but essentially 5th or 6th in the SEC West. Being number 1 in facilities, yes. I think we can all get behind that, and you can renew your subscription now to Baseball America just because of that.
Yes, absolutely. So, no, the facilities, I mean, you're just as well a part of it as we are here, but you don't get much better. You can't get much better. I mean, you can. I remember watching. I think it was it UCLA? It was it was a Pac-12 series. It was just happened to be on ESPN. Flipped it on for a second. The vast difference between what they had to what we had. It was
incredible.
It's ridiculous how much better it is here. I was shocked.
The level of play is not far from each other, SEC, Pac-12. But if you're talking about facilities,
definitely.
I mean, you're talking about the stadiums they play in, where they practice, weight rooms, everything associated with it. It's like comparing the major leagues to the Carolina League.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a humongous difference. Anyway, we come back for the second hour, getting you over the hump on the way towards the weekend on halftime. 877-377-6963, and we are right back.
Spring is here, and there's no better time to get out of the house and back on the road. Time for the windows rolled down and the radios turned up. Southern Tire Mart proudly offers America's most trusted brands, such as Toyo. Trust us for your last-minute getaways, open road adventures, and memories that outlast the drive. When you can rely on your tires, you are free to enjoy the ride. Your Toyo tires are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith. Southern Tire Mart and Toyo, we keep you rolling.
Wave Rural Connect is bringing state-of-the-art fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. Get amazing fast fiber internet, 100 megabits for only $49.95 per month, or 1 gigabit for only $79.95 per month. TV packages from the basics to our amazing Altered TV, starting at $32.95. Fiber phone services start at $29.95. Go to waveruralconnect.com to find out if we are installing in your area, or call 1-833-4-WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
To feel the calming effects of nature, take a deep breath. In and out. Every breath makes you feel closer to nature, and every sip makes nature feel closer to you. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. Beer in its organic form.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Evans Body Shop wants you to know that you are now able to get the repair process started on your schedule. With just a few clicks of your cell phone, you can send photos and your vehicle information directly to our shop. We will respond within 24 hours with a detailed estimate for repairs. It's that simple. We are here for you. Visit our website for all of the details. We offer complimentary pickup and drop-off as well, and extra steps are being taken to ensure your car is returned as good as new and completely sanitized.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Mainly clear sky tonight, and overnight low will drop down in the middle to upper 40s. We should see a whole lot of sunshine Wednesday. High temperatures low 70s north, upper 70s to near 80 south. And Thursday we could see a few showers or thunderstorms, or high temperatures in the upper 60s to low 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson. Make sure to listen to the Morning Rush every weekday morning from 6 to 9 on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Good station. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
These guys are awesome, baby. You can have these guys, ESPN in Arkansas. They do a good job.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Jones for the win. He got it. He got it. He got it. Mason Jones banks in a three with 0.1 seconds to play.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Second hour, moving along into, we're heading towards the weekend now. This is the 6th hour of 10 for halftime as we've come to you Monday through Friday, 12 to 2 on our 4 affiliates. First day on 99.5, ESPN Northwest Arkansas. I'm very excited about that. We'll be on for the rest of eternity, Monday through Friday.
Yes.
Pretty excited, yeah. 877-377-6963. Of course, we also remain on our affiliates that we had started with, those being 96.3 Hot Springs Mena, ESPN 95.3 Fort Smith, and ESPN 104.3 in Harrison, plus hitthatline.com. And we've got Bill King in about 29 minutes. Also, don't forget we've got a championship game today, don't we? Or actually for the next couple of days.
Next couple of days, yeah.
A couple of days in the greatest Razorback game of all-time bracket, which started at 64 games and is right now down to 2 games from the same season.
2 games from the same season, yeah.
From the 64 championship season.
Well, you got your wish. The fans came out. One of the number 1 seeds you thought was going to win the whole thing was the 69 shootout.
Right.
That got eliminated right before the Elite Eight came around.
It's funny, too, because I got my wish and my prediction was wrong at the same time. I didn't want Arkansas fans to vote a loss as the greatest game in football team history.
But it seems like
I thought they would, but they didn't. Good for them.
You've probably been hearing this a lot on the Morning Rush, and we've been doing it here on Halftime too, but you can go to hitthatline.com. You can also go to our Facebook and Twitter pages at hitthatlineAR on Twitter and at hitthatline on Facebook. It's pinned to both of those pages, so it's easy for you to find, and it's even easier for you to vote. Like Phil said, both of the championship games, we started at 64 all the way down to the final 2, and both of them were in the same season. The 1964 what technically happened in 1965 Cotton Bowl against Nebraska. That game won Arkansas its one and only national championship, and its opponent is earlier that year in October when they played at number 1 Texas. So it's kind of the one thing we talked about in the Rush. It's the game and not the moment, because the Cotton Bowl did win you the national title. But you had to win that game, and then you had to have Texas beat Alabama. So it wasn't like the college football playoff where you win the national championship with a win.
Boy, that must have been a painful thing for Arkansas fans to suffer through. First of all, I mean, beating Texas on the road is beautiful, especially when they're number 1.
Absolutely.
But then to have to turn around and root for the Longhorns to beat anybody, really. I mean, the only thing you'd usually root for Texas is to beat Texas somehow, which obviously doesn't work. That must have been a painful thing for people to celebrate a Longhorn win.
Yeah, and you've seen, I'm sure, have you seen the 22 straight documentary that they did? This was probably, 10, 11, 12 years ago. It came out. It was talking about the 22 straight wins that they won from 64 to 65. And when they beat Texas, I can't remember. I think Darryl Worrell came into the locker room and said, you guys are fixing to go on to go to the Cotton Bowl and win the national championship and don't lose another game. He said, if you don't lose another game, we'll be right there to pick up the pieces because we're not going to lose another game either. So this is your national title to win. It was a great documentary. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic to see. I would probably go with Texas just because I know Clay Henry would probably go with the Texas win.
Of course he would.
Because Clay Henry's old school, and I'm not old school, but I get the hatred of Texas.
It's a visceral hatred
Yeah.
of Texas that Clay has. It's part of his being.
Absolutely.
I mean, every breath of oxygen he takes flames the hatred for Texas more.
Because that was the way he was brought up. It's the way he was raised.
A lot of Arkansans were brought up. It's also the way that a lot of Texas A&M fans were brought up, and a lot of the ways that other Texans across the Longhorn State are brought up that don't attend Texas.
Yep.
I've wondered about this sometimes because Texas, I mean, you hate Texas when you're in Arkansas, but I think there's a lot of Texans that hate Texas too. You know, that think it's a little bit much. I mean, the whole thing with Texas that just bugs me. And I know Del Conte came out yesterday and said for their football program, they only want to play non-conference teams that won national championships during the modern era, which, you know, that's a swipe against Texas A&M more than anything. It's not going to keep them from putting Texas State on the schedule every few years and or Rice or something like that. But you know, they come on from this high and mighty position, but get their panties all in a wad anytime somebody puts their pointer finger and their pinky finger out and then extends it downward, as if that really means anything. It's just there's just such a precious athletic department. They clutch their pearls tighter than any athletic department in the country.
Wasn't that this past season in the Big 12 Conference that if opposing teams did the hook 'em horns, they got a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've got so many reasons to dislike Texas, and I didn't grow up in Arkansas, but I've been a part of the state for a long time. The thing that burns me more than anything is their preciousness about the horns down.
Yep.
Get over it, for crying out loud.
Change my mind.
Get over it. It's really, it's not like throwing gang signs at a high school or anything, all right? Get over yourself. Just a tiny little bit, please.
But if you want to get out there and vote, it is on hitthatline.com on Facebook and Twitter. The votes will be today and tomorrow. And then at probably 8:30 on Friday, we'll announce the winner on the Morning Rush, and then we'll recap the whole bracket here on halftime on Friday. But, yeah, we're going to wrap this up. So you've got 2 days to vote. Get out there and do it. It's super easy to go out there and vote, so make sure you let your voice be heard. I'm going 64 game in Texas. Greatest game of all time.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that one, too, because it's a win over Texas. I'm good for that anytime. All right, we got more Last Dance coming up on Sunday. And how many more episodes are there? There's really just 2 more weeks.
2 weeks,
there are
4
episodes remaining.
We got 7, 8,
Wow.
and then 9 and 10.
What are we going to do when this is all done? Well, ESPN is releasing some more documentaries, real documentaries, by the way, because
doesn't this feel like a soap opera in some points?
Well, it's not that it feels like a soap opera, because a lot of documentaries do, and you know, there's conflict with people that work together and all that sort of stuff, and so sure, there's a soap opera feel to it. This isn't a documentary because Michael Jordan has the final say as to what's put out. That's, you know, a documentary is not supposed to be something that is a carefully augmented reality of what the main subject of the documentary, how he wants to be portrayed. So the way that this is being portrayed is the way that Jordan wants it to be portrayed.
Absolutely.
And look, that doesn't have anything to do with the entertainment value of it or the enjoyment of the walk down memory lane, or even some stories that we didn't know about, like the Carmen Electra, Dennis Rodman story from Vegas, or Pippen and Jordan talking about how much they wanted to go after Kukoc, or that Jerry Krause had a big thing for Dan Marley, and so Jordan decided to destroy Marley in the NBA Finals. What makes this the reason that this is not a documentary is because you cannot have the final say of your own documentary. It does not work that way. And so real documentaries are coming out, you know, after The Last Dance is over, after this lengthy biography, almost autobiography is done with The Last Dance. You've got Lance, which is a 2-parter about Lance Armstrong. You think they're going to give Lance Armstrong the power to control what is said and not said about him on that documentary?
Negative.
No. You got Be Like Water coming out on June 7th. That's about Bruce Lee.
That's going to be good.
I think that'll be a lot of fun. And then another one that they're not going to give the subjects editorial power over what the content of the show is, because it's about the home run chase of 1998 called Long Gone Summer. You think Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire are going to have any sort of final say as to what is featured on that documentary? No. We're going to learn about the things they were taking, the PEDs that were in their locker for all of the reporters to see, and some of the things that were being hidden. That's a real documentary. The Last Dance, it's really just an autobiographical movie, which is highly enjoyable, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. But don't call it a documentary, because it isn't.
It's different for everybody, because we're like the older generation is reliving memories, and then you got people my age or a little bit older than me, younger than me. You knew about the dynasty, but you didn't know everything that went into it, both the good and bad. I have loved every episode that I've seen so far, and this next one's going to be good because I think it's going into his baseball career.
I want to get into Tim Tebow's career, too. No, I didn't really mean to do that. I used to go all the time for the Tim Tebow thing. He predicted he'd be a major league slugger. I said he's a major league strikeout artist. Halftime's back after this.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
Mason had one of the best percentages in college basketball in finishing fast break opportunities. He was consistently up there as one of the best guys to finish in transition, which is important because you think about how the NBA game has evolved. Transition is a huge part, i.e. the Golden State Warriors and what they've been able to do.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Spring is here and there's no better time to get out of the house and back on the road. Time for the windows rolled down and the radios turned up. Southern Tire Mart proudly offers America's most trusted brands such as Toyo. Trust us for your last minute getaways, open road adventures, and memories that outlast the drive. When you can rely on your tires, you are free to enjoy the ride. Your Toyo tires are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith. Southern Tire Mart and Toyo, we keep you rolling.
Full-time farmers, hobby farmers, and landowners, your time is important. Make the most out of that time with a brand new Branson tractor from Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith. With tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, we have a tractor that will fit your needs. Ask Bush Machine and Tractor about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith is Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer. Check their inventory at bushtractor.com.
The Paint Store in Van Buren is ready to help with your projects, and they'll put 32 years of experience to work in helping you choose a new color or match the one you really need. In addition to a computer, they use their eyes and minds to see color and make adjustments to choose just the right Richards Paints product for your project. They keep samples in your name and address for 10 years. No other paint seller does this. Come see the large selection of the current and popular paint colors from Richards Paints and experience customer service you won't get anywhere else. The Paint Store, 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren.
At AOG, we realize some customers are facing challenges because of the pandemic. We're here to help. AOG can offer you a wide array of payment options. Please call us at 1-800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com. Manage your account online 24/7 by clicking on Login/Register in the upper right corner. You can also simplify your life by enrolling in electronic billing, auto pay, and average monthly payments. Thank you for being a valued AOG customer. We're all in this together.
In sports, success is measured in the number of points scored, in games won, and in championships earned. At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in our community support, and being there when you need us. In fact, 9 out of 10 people surveyed with a claim would recommend Shelter to a friend. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith or Jim Malum in Charleston about Shelter's home insurance.
Art's Barbecue and Burgers is still open, taking care of the community and keeping you safe. Art's Barbecue and Burgers at 8203 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith is taking care of their customers in the drive-thru, curbside pickup, or use the Waiter app and have it brought to you. Call 452-2550 and Art's will have your order ready. That's 452-2550. Eat local at Art's Barbecue and Burgers, 8203 Rogers Avenue next to Aaron's in Fort Smith.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above can make that driveway and fence look brand new with a good power washing. You don't have to put up with those unwanted pests either. Call today and get started with the flea, tick, and mosquito treatment to start enjoying the outdoors again. More than just a mowing service. They're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea, tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
High drive, way back into right field. You can kiss that one goodbye. That cleared the video board. Heston Kjerstad with a grand slam. Boy, Darren McFadden just keeps getting snubbed, right? Dude should have won at least one Heisman Trophy. Didn't even get one of them. Look at this list that Fox College Football put on their Twitter feed yesterday. How do you leave Darren McFadden off of the list of the best players to wear number 5 in college football history? This has obviously got to be an oversight. Either that or what you've been telling me for years now, that the media's got a bias against Arkansas, is true.
Well, I didn't even think about this because we talked about this on the Rush, too. There's not even an SEC player on this list. There's only one player.
Goodness gracious. Well, I mean, that right there is the answer for you. Why? Because this list came from Fox.
Yep.
And what does Fox not show?
SEC. Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's the reason why.
That's
the only reason why.
But I mean, yeah, it's shocking because
Well, I mean, all right. Who are the players that they've got down here on this graphic?
We've got Jameis Winston. We've got Reggie
Great
Bush.
Number 5 belongs on the list. Absolutely.
Reggie Bush. Great.
I think he belongs on the list.
I would even, before I go with the list, I would argue he's probably the greatest. Probably a little more than Darren McFadden, just because A, Heisman, B, Natties. I mean, he's got.
He didn't win the Heisman. That thing was taken away from him. Okay. They didn't win a Natty. That thing was taken away from them.
So, that's fair. Christian McCaffrey, more recently, but a fantastic running back. LaDainian Tomlinson, Pat White, Edgerrin James, Donovan McNabb, and for some reason they put Manti Te'o on the list.
Manti Te'o, come on. I mean, Te'o's got the greatest weird scandal in the history of college football.
Yeah.
He's the greatest number 5 to ever be catfished.
That's fair, yeah.
That's about as far as I think I can go. But I don't know how you leave McFadden off that list. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And even on our rundown here, SmackDown, you ask, why do I care so much? You can extend that question, take out the word I, and say we.
Yep.
Because that's exactly the way that everybody in the state of Arkansas approaches this.
Well, it's kind of like what you mentioned, too, a moment ago when Baseball America did the top 10 baseball jerseys, and Arkansas came in 10th with the cream jerseys. And those things are just absolutely beautiful. And maybe it's just it could be a pride thing where we want to be the best in everything. It could be that. I mean, there's no reason. If you're a college football fan, it doesn't matter if you hate the SEC, hate Arkansas, love them, love the SEC, you're a Big 12, but you respect whatever. If you're a college football fan, you know who Darren McFadden is and what he did.
Well, our resident Notre Dame fan, Zach Arns, tells me that Manti Te'o is one of the most decorated defensive players in the history of college football. 8 awards as his senior year. So, I mean, maybe I can give you that. We just remember the hoax a little bit too much, I guess.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you're going to have a list of 10, who do you take off that list? Because you can't convince me that Darren McFadden doesn't belong on this list.
I would argue.
Who do you take off? Would it be Pat White? I mean, White had an amazing career at West Virginia.
I'd argue Donovan McNabb myself. Donovan McNabb and probably Edgerrin James. Because Pat White was great. LaDainian Tomlinson. I mean, you know who. I mean, you don't have to go any further than that. I mean, you know who LT is. Christian McCaffrey still turned it up in the NFL and signed one of the richest running back contracts in NFL history. He deserves to be on there. I would take off Edgerrin James and Donovan McNabb.
Part of this is you have to remove any success from the NFL from this. This isn't about the NFL.
True.
It's about college football. And great college football players don't always become great NFL players. So, you know, I mean, who do you take off? Zach says you take off Pat White.
I would agree with that.
White had virtually, I mean, he had no NFL career whatsoever, but he did have 4 years starting for West Virginia and had a ton of success and was, you know, really the driving force behind the success of Coach Rod for those years. Anyway, I mean, it'd be an interesting thing to look at here. I don't know who you take out, but McFadden definitely belongs on the list. McNabb, I mean, he was like a 4-year starter at Syracuse, right? I don't think you can take out Edgerrin James for what he meant to one of those national championship teams with Miami.
You wonder if
and
things
I'll give you Manti Te'o too, Zach. So I mean, I'm looking at this here. The guy did have an amazing college career.
You wonder if things would be different if the you'd wonder if it'd be different if the records were like the season's records had changed and you went 8 games and 9 games or whatever it was. You wonder if it'd be different with that because a lot of us think that that's what did him in the Heisman, or just the bias against Arkansas. I mean, you saw the Saturday Down South piece that they did. There's a million different things, and when you look back at it, and I know me and my dad have talked about it too, with the amount of talent that team had, particularly at the running backs, with between him, Felix, and Peyton Hillis, that team should have been a 10-win team all the time that McFadden and Felix Jones were there, and it wasn't. That could have played into it as well. Who knows? It's just something to get us fired up when we have nothing else to talk about. But like we said at the beginning, the Fox College Football Twitter account put this out. And like you said, they broadcast a big whopping 0 SEC games a year.
Well, I don't think they broadcast. Do they get any Notre Dame games? You know, the home games are on NBC. Otherwise, it all depends on the stadium that the Fighting Irish are playing.
I think it's a lot of – mainly it's just the Big Ten and Pac-12. So –
Doug in Mountain Home asked, were any of them better than DMAC? I mean, that's the other part of it, too. I mean, all of these guys had great college careers, but were any of them better than Darren McFadden? I mean, you've got a couple of Heisman Trophy winners there, but you don't have somebody that finished second twice and should have won at least one of them. So, yeah, he belongs there. JT in Hot Springs texts in, if Te'o didn't get catfish, no one would remember him. I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Other than the name, I mean, he did have a pretty interesting and unique name.
And a good guy. I mean, he wasn't like a bad kid or anything. He was a solid, well-built player.
Maybe a little bit weirdly gullible, but
well, when you're a college kid, when you're a college kid and you're looking for love, you look for it in any way possible.
Well, he's not the only college student to get catfished. It just happened to be on a national scale before the college football playoff started. Goodness, that was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think some people might remember who he was, but that's the one reason we do remember him at the top of the list.
Yeah, you don't think of his playing career. You think of that like, yeah, exactly.
Brandon wants to know why Tennessee's had such great success in recruiting. Rules changes, boosters open the checkbooks, or what? You know, I think we brought that up with Bill King last week. You know, Pruitt was a good recruiter to Alabama. He had a pretty good recruiting class last year. Nothing quite like they have this year at this point. But there's an interesting point that I saw on a 24/7 Sports article this morning. There have been 627 committed football recruits as of today for the 2021 class. That's more than twice the amount of the committed football recruits that had totaled in the 2 years combined before this season. May 6th, 2018, May 6th, 2019, there were a total of 545 committed football recruits for those 2 years put together on May 6th. You have over 625 committed to schools today for the 2021 class. So the author posited that there very well could be a ton of decommitments, like a ton during the autumn, or even at the point during the summer when students are allowed to visit campuses again. I mean, all of these commits have happened during a recruiting dead period. No face-to-face contact, no official or unofficial campus visits, but yet you have more than twice the amount of high school athletes committed for next year at this point than you did in the last 2 years combined. So that has to be, for me, that has to be part of the reason, that there's just a ton of kids that are recruiting anyway, more than usual. And it's not just that Tennessee's got an amazing number of recruits that they've signed. I think it's up by like 15 or 16. Arkansas's got like 4 or 5 right now committed.
And they've got like, excuse me, I think I saw the same article you were talking about. It was 3 or 4 3-stars, or like 4 4-stars, and they got the 1 5-star kid. Yeah, Tennessee's, they're doing work, and it's weird. Like, I mean, who knows?
Well, and of course you're going to point to boosters opening up checkbooks, money given to the players, everything like that. I guess nobody can accept the thought that maybe Jeremy Pruitt is just killing it in recruiting, and that he's been able to turn Tennessee, at least for the time being, into some sort of a destination. But isn't it a little bit crazy? Isn't it a little odd to look at just the numbers right now, even in just the SEC in and of itself? Tennessee has 18 players committed for the 2021 class. Alabama has 3.
And we could ask Bill King this here coming up. I mean, I wonder why that is. Like, why is Tennessee – I mean, maybe they're doing more of the virtual recruiting thing like you've seen Eric Musselman do and kind of doing it their own way. That shocks me. I mean, it doesn't shock me so much that they're beating us in recruiting per se, but they're beating Alabama in recruiting.
Well,
and beating them handedly.
It's still really early
in
the recruiting process, or at least the committing process for 2021. More than twice, think about this, 540-some student-athletes on May 6th in the last 2 years combined had made their football commitments. You have over 625 of them that have made their commitments for 2021 by today. So something's up with it. And the pandemic and the lack of contact is got to be one of the reasons why. And I think you will see an autumn of decommitments coming up. All right, Bill King coming up after the break, talking college football. Also want to see if he thinks that Herschel Walker would have been able to step into the ring with Mike Tyson. Not in the 80s, but how about in the 2020s? Halftime back after the break.
Wave Rural Connect is bringing state-of-the-art fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. Get amazing fast fiber internet, 100 megabits for only $49.95 per month, or 1 gigabit for only $79.95 per month. TV packages from the basics to our amazing altered TV, starting at $32.95. Fiber phone services start at $29.95. Go to waveruralconnect.com to find out if we are installing in your area, or call 1-833-4-WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
We're now living in uncharted waters with the spread of COVID-19. With the partial closing of a lot of businesses, sadly, some will soon try and turn your possessions into their possessions. Guardtronic has been providing security for homes and businesses for over 60 years. Whether you need a camera system to keep an eye on things or a complete home security system, call Guardtronic 479-785-2323 or go online to guardtronic.com. We have so many worries these days, safety should not be one of them. License E50.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
Telephone and internet services have never been more critical than now. This is Drake Smith with Pinnacle Telecom letting you know that our company has invested millions of dollars in this area to build the finest network available for times just like this. More importantly, we employ the best and brightest technicians to make sure the network performs to your expectations. Come join our family and rest in the security we offer our Pinnacle family members. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
Are your appliances struggling? Do you need that part and not sure where to go? Mid-South Distributing has you covered with 9 locations in the Arkansas area. Appliance parts and accessories for all major brands of appliance. Mid-South Distributing has you, the customer, in mind when you're needing that part for your appliance. Mid-South Distributing. Check out midsouthparts.com to find your location near you. Mid-South Distributing. We're in your neighborhood.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
1-2 pitch. Open swings. Hard shot. Through the right side. Base hit. Washington to third. He gets the green light. And the throw. Not in time. Hogs win. The Razorbacks finish the sweep of Missouri. And that's how you do a Sunday at Baum Stadium.
Bill King's been with our show from day one. He is the outstanding host on Nashville Sports Radio, 6 to 9, Monday through Friday. He is the king of college football talk. You can follow him on Twitter at BillIsKing, and he's on the phone right now from right outside Nashville. Hey, Bill, how are you today?
Yeah, some guy sent me a tweet this morning during the show, and here's the tweet. I've got a home in New York City, and I got one in Miami. And I wanna move to Nashville. What should I do? And I said, don't do it. Move to one of the surrounding cities. Don't come to Nashville. Our idiot mayor, after the tornado that was national and a pandemic, is trying to and pushing through a 32% property tax increase. So I said, do not come to this town. Go elsewhere.
Holy moly. That is quite a number, Bill. That is quite a number. That's tough to get your mind wrapped around something like that. 32%. That's incredible. So yeah, you don't want to make people moving to Nashville anymore.
Yeah, I live in Franklin, which is where you want to come anyway. Nashville. People say Nashville, and they make assumptions about the proper, a lot of the surrounding counties. Where you want to go is south to Brentwood or Franklin, which is nicer and it's newer and it's just better. So if you're gonna move here, just make sure you go to the county. That's why we call it Wilco. It's Williamson County, which is Franklin Brentwood. Anyway, sorry about that, guys.
It brings up something that I noticed you mentioned last week on Twitter after the NCAA announced their name, image, and likeness, not decision, but what they're thinking about.
Right.
And it was the idea of income tax in, varying state by state. This is something professional athletes think about when they're signing free agent contracts. College athletes haven't really had to think about this very much, but I guess this now sort of goes into the decisions of maybe not every student athlete, but certainly some if they intend on profiting off their name, image, and likeness.
Yeah. It's kind of taboo. I don't care. I'll mention it, but most people, oh, my gosh, you should worry about that. You should proudly pay. Well, that's not the reality. It's not what people are thinking. And, now, again, you're right. How many players will command enough to we get to that point in the future to need to even worry about that? We don't know because we don't even know. They don't even know what the model looks like. And there are just a few states that don't have a state income tax. Tennessee is one. Florida is one. I think Texas is one. I mean, it's a small list.
I think Montana's another one. All of a sudden, the Montana Grizzlies are going to have some national power football program now, right? Yeah.
So Trevor Lawrence really considers like the next Trevor Lawrence, Montana. He's got to look at it.
Exactly. Missoula, Montana, the next hotbed of big-time college football. That's right. And I wanted to ask you about this question because we were talking about Mike Tyson yesterday. Tyson wants to do some boxing exhibitions at the age of 52, and I think he's going to step in. They'd be different than the Muhammad Ali exhibitions in which he would just clown around. Tyson's going to try to knock a guy out. And a listener texted into us someone who he thinks from the 80s would be a great matchup for him right now, and it's Herschel Walker, the former Georgia Bulldog, who I think right now could beat up people in their 30s pretty easily. Is Herschel Walker potentially the best athlete to ever come out of the SEC?
Well, first of all, one item. Ironically, also this morning on Twitter, I'm sitting there doing the show. There's a picture of Mike Tyson somewhere in downtown Nashville taking a selfie with some dude this morning.
Of course.
Guys, I have no idea what he's doing here. He may not have any idea what he's doing here. But anyways, Herschel, look, guys, I'm biased, but I think I'm for real, too. I think I'm real honest. I saw Herschel Walker. I was a freshman, Herschel Walker's freshman year. I was at Tennessee the first time he walked on the field. I had studied him just as a kid when he was coming out of Wrightsville, Georgia. And it was a single-lane high school. And he was 6 foot, about 225, and he had elite track speed. Elite track speed. And he was also a hell of a football player. I saw his first carry. I saw him take over a game the second half. He's the best college football player that's ever stepped foot on the planet Earth. That's what I will tell you. Now, a lot of people say they saw that. There were probably, Neyland Stadium's a big old place. Probably had 95,000 in it because they hadn't expanded up over 100, I don't think, in 80. But I was there, and I, to this day, still think he's the best. Again, this is not necessarily what happens when you move on. He was a really good pro, but he wasn't elite a long time. But I've never seen – guys, he took a 7-5 – 6-5 team. You didn't play 12 games then. And he led them to the national championship as a true freshman out of single-A football. There's nothing like that.
Speaking to Bill King here on Halftime, Bill, you are the king of college football talk, and that's what we got a few things that just want to pick your brain about.
Yeah.
Read this article earlier this morning. It was talking about which SEC team could make an LSU-like leap this season. Obviously, I think LSU is going to be in the conversation, but losing their entire offense to the NFL and losing several key pieces on the defense, is there an SEC team in your mind that can make that sort of a leap? Like maybe a team that was an 8-win, 9-win, a 10-win team that can make that next step and maybe be in the comfort college football playoff spot?
No, not even close. Now, again, you're talking about coming – you weren't elite the year before and then it just develops? No. Georgia has the most talent other than Alabama. And their they feel like the defense might be the best in the country. Tons return. Lots of athletes, lots of size. O-line, though, has got to be replenished. And now they've got a lot of talent there, but again, you know that. It's got to be in sync. You got to have reps together. That's one position where cohesion is vital, more than any other position. Grouping on the field. Jamie Newman's coming in from Wake. He's a very good dual-threat quarterback, but he hadn't done anything there yet. He hadn't been on the spring practice field. And you lose a high-picket running back. They've got others. And you only have one receiver back you trust. He was a true freshman a year ago. I couldn't pick them. Alabama's already elite. And but I think they're going to take a slight step down. I think Ohio State and Clemson are a notch ahead of Alabama. I'd have Alabama probably number 3. But I think Ohio State and Clemson. See, even last year, I didn't think Clemson and Ohio State were man for man better than Bama. Bama lost a couple of games, as we know. I think right now they are. I don't see a team like that in the SEC. And you also have to remember that LSU season was a generational season. We may skip another 20 years before we see something like that. That was, I think, because it's so fresh on our mind. I don't think we understand how just crazy their ascension from day one to the very end. How that happened. They had awesome talent, more people drafted, but you're talking about catching lightning in a bottle. Joe Brady, Joe Burrow. Yeah, I mean, we can go on and on. Crazy.
It is. I agree. I think it's going to be interesting to see which team does make that next ascension. Now, I'm also going to get your thoughts on this too, and I know this is $1 million question. We don't know what's going to happen next week or a month from now, but ESPN did a survey with some fans. And if they favor the return of sports, even with fans not allowed to attend games, the survey said that the fans would mind. They want sports to come back rather than try to wait and get fans back in the stands. Would you rather postpone, just say, college football season with hopes of getting fans back in the stands, or move forward with it with no fans? Because we know, I mean, any college football fan knows what the fans mean, not only to the game itself, but to the broadcast. I mean, it's going to be odd having no fans in the stands if that's the way college football, NCAA, and SEC decides to move forward? Would you rather postpone the season and wait until fans are allowed back in, or let's move forward?
No, two things here. Number one, you got to start the season, and if it's no fans, so be it. I'm no stipulation. If that's the way we got to do it, let's get going. Guys, it is a financial suicide if we don't play football. Number one. Let me give you a second one. If schools start announcing we're going online in the fall, you know what kind of financial windfall? You can't charge full prices if some dude's sitting at home on a computer. Vanderbilt gets about $80K. But now, again, a lot of scholarships in there, too. But Vanderbilt's $75, $80K. You can't charge somebody from California $80K if they're at their home in San Francisco online. It would be financial, big-time suicide outside of sports, guys. And I don't care what somebody's endowment is. Okay? That's fine. They don't reach into the endowment and say, here, throw it on campus. They don't do that. So, guys, we're going to be back in class in the fall. And they're going to play football. We just don't know who gets to be, if any of us get to be at the games. But they're going to play.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. There's one last thing I wanted to touch on here, Bill. Yeah. I'd seen a report from 24/7 Sports about the number of committed football players on today for the 2021 class. There's 627 of them that have committed to a Division I college football program for 2021. That's more than twice the amount of the students that had committed on May 6th in the last 2 years combined. 302 committed by May 6th last year, 243 May 6th, 2018. I mean, this is while we're in a dead period, while students can't even make unofficial visits to campus. And so the same story posited the idea that there's probably going to be an epic amount of decommitments once these coaches are able to get their eyes on some of these kids and actually evaluate them in person. Is that something you agree with?
And or they actually get to visit some places.
Yes.
Because they're all getting left. They can't go to any of these camps. You can't go to campus and your parents foot the bill on an unofficial. You're not doing any of that. So these kids have been cooped up. They're stir crazy. I would be too. So would you. Once they get the release of, you can take some officials, you can take unofficials, that could change a lot. You're exactly right. That could lead to a massive amount of decommitments. It really could. And I mean, here's another one. I'll be quick. Think about all the true freshmen that come in, football players that are early enrollees to get a jump. They're on campus this year, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it was. Maybe they got to go on spring break. Now they're back home. They've been sitting home for 2 months. They're freshmen, and they're just starting their freshman year. It is very weird, guys. I don't. Hey, Florida just had a kid, a guy that they thought would compete this year. A freshman, a freshman, Isaiah Walker, and he's already in the transfer portal. He's been Miami in his home, and he was there midterm. He's already put his name in there.
How do you like that? It's a sign of things to come in the next few months for sure. Bill, we'll leave it there, man. Always appreciate talking sports with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Bill.
Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio joins us every Wednesday around about this time. Hey, if you need to see a doctor, or if you don't have time, or you just can't get up and go and do it, and you live in Baxter County, download the Baxter Regional Care app to your phone or your tablet. It's free in the Apple App Store, free in the Google Play Store. Also, free to just use it at BaxterRegionalCare.com. That's the Baxter Regional Care app, and they offer access to 24-hour medical professionals. They can diagnose, treat your condition, and prescribe medication if needed. Just $69 per visit to the Baxter Regional Care app. That's your 24-hour on-demand doctor. As we come back to halftime, we'll close out the show. Cherry on the top today, Change My Mind. Right back.
Need to see a doctor but you're concerned about going? River Valley Primary Care is now seeing patients at all 10 clinics by video and phone visits. See a doctor today who can diagnose your condition and prescribe medication if needed. These visits are now covered by most insurance plans. River Valley Primary Care in Ratcliffe, Mountainburg, Mulberry, Clarksville, Lavaca, Lamar, Waldron, and 3 locations in Fort Smith. Call 479-431-2050 or go online to rvpcs.org. See a doctor today by video or phone with River Valley Primary Care.
Calico County will remain open for delivery and takeout service for many of our menu favorites from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., including breakfast each day until 11 a.m. Now, you can order takeout to be brought to your car at curbside by calling 479-452-3299, or you can use the Order Online button at our website, calicocounty.net. For delivery, use the Waiter app on your computer or your handheld device, and visit our Facebook page to see any changes in our efforts to continue to service our customers.
I'm Attorney General Leslie Rutledge, and you're watching the Rutledge Report. The governor declared a state of emergency. Price gouging laws are now in effect. Businesses and individuals cannot charge 10% more than they did before. Bad actors will face criminal charges and a fine of up to $10,000 per item. Report price gouging to my office. At the Attorney General's office, we will do the fighting for you. Call us at 800-482-8982 or visit arkansasag.gov.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
When you go to the mechanic in here...
Pass me the torque wrench. Nope, let me have the flamethrower.
That sounds wrong. You know what else sounds wrong? When you hear about the interest you're earning on your savings with the largest banks. But with the Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account, you could earn much more interest. And hear this. Open a Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account in minutes at marcus.com. You can money.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of February 4th, 2020 and may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Hey, what's that look on your face? Defeat? You want to save more money? Then start playing as a team! Bundle home and auto with Progressive. That's how you win big savings. What? You need music to get pumped? Let's do this! Hold on, I'm going to turn it up. That's too loud. Yeah, that's better.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
In the past, waiting until the last minute to order a Mother's Day bouquet from 1-800-Flowers might have worked out fine, but as we all know, this year is different. With limited delivery, it's important to lock in your bouquet order right now. 1-800-Flowers has beautiful Mother's Day gifts, bouquets, and arrangements. They're a great way to make every mom feel loved when it matters most. Whether it's roses, lilies, daisies, or palms, all blooms from 1-800-Flowers are picked at their peak and shipped overnight to ensure freshness and her amazement. 1-800-Flowers is committed to the safety of their team members and your family, so all deliveries are contactless. Picking an early delivery date ensures that your bouquet will arrive in time to make Mom's Day special. Don't put this off. Order today from the official florist of Mother's Day, 1-800-Flowers.com. To order Mother's Day gifts, bouquets, or arrangements, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code WINGO. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code WINGO. Again, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, enter code WINGO.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Jenkins.
Matt Jones rolling out of the bootleg. Hey, he's at midfield. He's at the 40. He's at the 30 of Texas. The 20, the 10. Matt Jones is out of bounds at the half-yard line. Oh, my. What an incredible play call. And Jones, racing downfield, was finally pushed out of bounds after a 60-yard run.
Welcome back to Halftime, final segment here of the day. And Mother's Day is coming up here pretty quick, and if you are like me and you hadn't got your mother something yet for Mother's Day, you might want to head on over to hitthatline.com or Twitter and Facebook pages. For the Mother's Day giveaway sponsored by Gregory Jewelers out of Mountain Home, you have the opportunity to win a $200 gift certificate from Gregory Jewelers down in Mountain Home, where they have a fine selection of high-quality jewelry that they offer at their location in the Mountain Home Square. You also have an opportunity to win a $50 gift certificate from Hudson's Supermarket in Harrison off of Main Street, Sisters Flower and Gift Shop on Industrial Park Road in Harrison, and a $50 gift certificate to Cash Saver 870 just off the bypass in Harrison. You have the last couple days to get signed up for that. You can sign up once a day, and you can sign up and register at hitthatline.com or heading over to our ESPN Arkansas Hit That Line Facebook and Twitter channel. So make sure you get registered. I need to go Mother's Day shopping here pretty quick, Phil.
Yeah, you better get out there now, man.
My mom is not going to be a happy camper if I come home this weekend and don't have her some flowers or something.
Mom's gonna be pretty messed up and angry at you for that.
She'll lay the smackdown on me if I don't.
Think she'd disown you?
Don't let that happen.
Nah, she wouldn't disown me, but she would whoop my rear end.
You're a self-proclaimed mama's boy.
Hands down. I'll say that till the day I die.
You're not going to
Which could be soon if you don't get her a card.
That's true.
You won't find a single person that criticizes you for that or anything else.
No.
My large friend.
Yeah,
nope.
I'm too scared to.
Family's too important to me. I was raised that way, so no. I'm a mama's boy through and through.
Well, I don't think I can change your mind about that.
I changed my mind.
Hi, Joey.
Hey, how you doing?
He won't sell anybody out to buy his future.
How can you be so obtuse? What did you call me? Obtuse? Is it deliberate?
Son, you're forgetting yourself.
Change my mind.
So, the Great Britain is beginning to open up in some ways. And one way that you can tell is that there are over 55 Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants that are finally allowing customers to use the drive-thru. They're not opening all of their restaurants in the UK, but there's over 55 of them that are open right now. And I did not realize how much the Brits love the KFC. Now, I love fried chicken. Don't get me wrong here. I love fried chicken, but I'm not waiting an hour in a line that snakes half a mile down the street for the Colonel's 18 spices. It's just not happening. I've seen photos on a Daily Mirror article. That's one of the newspapers that covers the UK. And I'm telling you what, I mean, there are some lines that make 6 different turns out of the KFC drive-thrus. And I just figure, I don't know, that wouldn't be the first place that I go. Isn't there something better to do than to wait in line for an hour for KFC?
Have you ever waited in line that long for something food-related?
Not KFC.
It wasn't KFC. I waited for at a taco truck in Austin that was supposedly the world's best breakfast tacos. It wasn't worth it.
We did an hour and a half one time at Lambert's, and it was my first time ever going to Lambert's.
Oh, home of the throwed rolls?
Yes.
And Lambert's isn't worth an hour and a half wait.
I'll throw a roll at you.
Just bring some in here. Yeah. Let me throw a loaf of bread at you for free. Well, I'll tell you one person that would wait in line for KFC, Charles Barkley.
If I walked in a room and Kim Kardashian was there in Halle Berry and a bucket of chicken, I'm going right for that chicken.
What? I don't even need the chicken, just as long as
Yeah, that was from the end. That was from a post-game show on TNT last month. Yeah.
Is that show not money?
It's pretty funny.
Oh my God, it's fantastic.
It's pretty funny, and that'll lead also to a change my mind that you have. So go ahead with the one that you've got here.
Well, I've got 2, and I'll kind of get through this one. Then I've got one I want to pick on one of my friends that sent me a message. So a couple days ago, you were talking about Michael Jordan being petty or kind of coming off that way in this. When I was watching episode 4 and 5, I didn't really think of him as being petty. I mean, every time, all the greatest athletes in the world, they always had motivation. They always had that sense of purpose to go out and take what they thought was theirs. That's the way I kind of viewed Michael Jordan in these last few episodes. I didn't find it petty. I just found it as he was so good already and already had won championships. He was just looking for that little thing to get him over the edge and continue to prove to people why he was the best. That may come off as petty. I didn't find it that way. I think that was just the greatest greatest basketball player of all time in NBA history looking for motivation, because when you've won 2 titles or 3 titles or whatever it may be, the sense of purpose goes down. I mean, you saw it with the Golden State Warriors a little bit, in a sense. I mean, yes, there's a big difference between Jordan and what the Warriors were doing, but they ran out of juice when they kept going to final after final after final. Michael Jordan didn't seem to do that. So, to me, Michael Jordan wasn't petty. I think it was just more looking for motivation to succeed. Changed my mind.
So here's the thing. Whatever an athlete's got to do to motivate he or herself for playing, against other top-notch athletes is fine. And what MJ was doing then in the 90s, I don't view as petty. I view him now as petty because he still harbors this unmitigated hatred for Isaiah Thomas and is still walking all over the grave of Jerry Krause years after he's died and trying to show all the reasons why Jerry was wrong for this and that. And then there's the other thing, too. I read about, I'm bringing on the Charles Barkley part of it here. I didn't realize that Barkley and Jordan have become estranged. Like, they're not friends any longer.
I didn't notice that either. I didn't know that.
They were close for 20 years until Barkley had the gall as a paid NBA analyst to criticize the way Michael Jordan was running the Charlotte Bobcats. I think this was like 8 or 9 years ago. And he said until he stops hiring all those kiss asses and people that just, are yes men, he's not going to be a good NBA executive. And MJ cut Barkley off from that moment, and they have not been friends since that. I find that to be petty, too, because here's also part of it. It's true. It's 100% true. Michael Jordan is a miserable basketball executive, just like Derek Jeter is a miserable baseball executive. The greats on the field are not always the greats in the office.
Fair.
And I think, look, again, I'm not going to question whatever an athlete needs to motivate him or herself when they get on the court or get on the field, because a lot of us don't understand what that takes. But years later, when the competition is over, that's the thing. I don't think Michael realized that the competition has ended. He won. He doesn't have to prove himself any longer. You can go. You can let go of the hate a little bit.
I think that's
he won.
I think it's just mentality of an athlete, though. Want to get one more in here real quick for both of you. When I buzzed my head, was it ugly? Did it suck?
I mean,
your haircut?
Yeah,
I didn't think it was too horrendous.
Okay, so
I could stand looking at you still.
Okay, thank you, Maddie. So
you didn't have enough hair to cut in the first place for it to matter.
Very fair. So I have a couple of my students follow me on Instagram when I was back in BB. One of them sent me a message right before, about a week ago, saying, "Thank God your hair is coming back because, my Lord, we're not going to talk about you shaving your head. Never do it again." I was kind of offended.
What do kids know anyway?
He hurt my feelings. Meanwhile, I just got on his good side, and I'm paying him $100 to detail my truck when I come back home.
Okay, so this is what you got to learn how to do. Change my mind. Learn to do these things yourself.
Just
detail your own truck. Save yourself $100.
He does really
cut
good.
Yourself some hair.
He does really
Save
good.
Save yourself $15 every 2 months.
Evans detailing.
And just go bald, my friend. That's the way to do it.
My head is too big to be going bald.
Don't be like Mike. Be like Phil. And for Matty T and for SmackDown, I'm Phil. Be with you tomorrow. Get up, get out, get better.
Attention, Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. Do you need a better internet provider? One who treats